Now when it comes to gaming and editing high-end footage, even in today's age, you guys know that it takes a ton of processing power. Trying to edit 4K, 6K, or even 8K video footage in itself requires a beefy PC. Trying to stream in 4K on the other hand is a completely different matter and still a far-fetched idea for most out there. Last month we checked out my game room setup tour where I mentioned we were building another PC that was going to focus on everything from content creation to streaming, recording, and even editing 6 or 8K video footage. So here we are. Most of the peripherals have stayed the same. We have the Rocket Vulcan and the Glorious Model O for my keyboard and my mouse. The new second version of the Stream Deck has been an awesome experience, especially when it comes to not having to worry about it folding over on itself like before. The Sony a7S III with the 20mm G lens still has its place in the lineup in combination with the Elgato Camlink and its software. We also have the Elgato Wave 3 and the Shure MV7 for my main go-to microphones that move freely on this Wave Mic LP that's also from Elgato. Now my main displays are still showcasing 3 27-inch monitors from LG that are 4K along with a 4K 44-inch Vizio Smart TV up top. I am, however, on the lookout for a 4K gaming monitor, 27 inches, that does have a high refresh rate. So if any of them come to mind, please let me know down below in the comment section, something that you guys would recommend. I'd truly appreciate it. The weapons of choice for headsets are both the Odyssey Penrose and the JBL Quantum 800. Now, most of you guys are always asking me what I'm currently rocking for gaming headsets, and since we have reviewed a ton of them over the years, these two have turned out to be the best wireless options for me, so I've stuck with them over the last 6 months. Now, if I had to go for a wired option, I'd still go for the HyperX Cloud Orbit S and the Odyssey Mobius, both in which are absolutely fantastic and super similar. But for the Mobius, it costs $100 more. You do get head tracking technology, a much better microphone, and you'll also get Bluetooth functionality. So keep that in mind. I'll let you guys decide. Aside from that, the Penrose and JBL Quantum 800 are my favorite wireless options. Those of you guys that have been here over the years, you guys absolutely know that those are my favorite headsets we've ever tested. For those of you that haven't been here and are new to the channel, 97% of you guys aren't subscribed and you're watching these videos. You're liking, you're commenting, but you're not subscribed. It's like you're coming over, you're peeping through my window, but you won't come in for dessert. Come kick it with me. I don't smell anything tech and gaming related. I got you guys. So if you enjoyed the content, please make sure you subscribe. The desk itself is the same custom built U-shaped design that I put together from IKEA using the 98-inch matte black countertops with custom legs, allowing for the perfect amount of support and storage underneath for anything I plan on doing. Now for my chair, I'm still rocking the GT Racing Ace M1. Now GT Racing did send this chair over to me 7-8 months ago. We did a full review and side-by-side comparison against the Secret Lab Titan. It's pretty much a Secret Lab Titan for half the price, without the lumbar support. Has it withstood against the test of time? You guys keep asking me. Yes. Still works great, still super comfortable. If you guys are on a budget and you're looking for a premium gaming chair, I will make sure to have that full review link down below for you guys as well. For console gaming, we have my matte black PS5 paired with my Scuff Vantage and a super fast 1TB FireCuda internal SSD that comes with its own heat sink when I need that extra storage. For me, FireCuda has been one of my favorite partners to use over the years for all of my internal and external storage needs. Which then leads me into my external SSDs. When I'm recording high-end 4K or 6K video footage, those file sizes are absolutely massive. So my two main go-tos are still the 2TB Seagate FireCuda and the Samsung X5 Thunderbolt, which I've also checked out for you guys in the past. When coming up with this new PC build, a non-negotiable for me this time around was having an AMD CPU. They have absolutely been tearing Intel apart when it comes to performance, especially when it comes to gaming and editing high-end footage. The problem I ran into for the longest time, and this is what held me up the most from building a new PC, I wanted an AMD chipset because obviously it was a lot faster for editing, rendering, and gaming. I couldn't find a motherboard that was premium that would have Thunderbolt technology. You guys know that I need that for 4 and 6K video files or even 8K in the future. Transferring those massive files takes forever. So I needed a premium motherboard that would have Thunderbolt technology that would have support for that AMD chipset. It just didn't exist. Until now. Kicking off the new PC build, we have the ProArt X570 motherboard from Asus that's geared towards content creators and gamers. You have dual Thunderbolt 4 Type-C ports with both 2.5 and 10 gigabit onboard Ethernet, Wi-Fi 6, 3 PCIe 4.0 M.2 slots, and USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports. It does have a comprehensive thermal design thanks to a VRM heatsink, as well as passive chipset and M.2 aluminum heatsinks. The Thunderbolt ports allow for up to 40 gigabytes of bidirectional bandwidth, as well as support for up to 2 4K displays or a single standalone 8K display. Its unthrottled performance caters to the latest lineup of AMD Ryzen processors, which my CPU of choice this time around is the 5950X. Yes, I know it's super expensive, but I wanted to make sure I didn't have any hiccups in my workflow for the next few years. With technology advancing so rapidly, I didn't want to make the same mistake I did 2 years ago with my first liquid cooled setup in the game room. Now, like my last 3 builds, I didn't want to do any liquid cooling this time around. I wanted a nice clean setup that would just get the job done. Not to mention, after doing that hard tubing in the last PC build that we did down here for the studio, the last thing that was on my mind was doing another liquid cooled setup. My GPU cooler of choice this time around was the Rogue Strix 360 from Asus, paired up with 128 gigabytes of Corsair Dominator Platinum high performance RAM. We also have the Elgato 4K 60 Pro Mark II for recording all my 4K console footage, and my GPU of choice is the Tough Gaming RTX 3080 Ti from Asus. Now you guys remember all the OBS tutorials I used to do for you back in the day, high-end settings, low-end settings for Streamlabs OBS, OBS Studio. Anytime you guys had any issues setting up your stream, I was there for you. You guys showed so much love and I really appreciate it. But for the life of me, I can't figure out what's going on right now. Using the 3080 Ti, right? If I'm recording with the NVENC new encoder versus the regular NVENC encoder, I'm getting choppy, laggy footage with the NVENC new encoder, but the regular NVENC encoder works just fine. I can't figure out what's going on. Even more surprisingly, using the X264 with that 5950X is giving me footage just as good, if not better, in 4K in comparison to the NVENC encoder, which for the first time in my life, I've never experienced that before. It just goes to show you how powerful these new AMD CPUs are. Now, I'm pretty sure the culprit here is either OBS Studio or Streamlabs OBS, but I've uninstalled both, reinstalled them, and I'm still having that same laggy footage when I use that new NVENC encoder. So if you guys have any idea on why these new higher end GPUs don't like NVENC new, let me know down below in the description. Maybe it's the games I'm playing. I've been testing it out mostly on Warzone and Apex, and that's where I'm experiencing that laggy footage. If you guys have any idea on why these new GPUs don't like that NVENC new encoder, please let me know down below in the description. I'm truly curious, trying to figure this out here before I start streaming again, because I'm super excited for Battlefield 2042, Halo, and Call of Duty Vanguard. For storage, I have a 2TB SN850 M.2 from Western Digital, a 16TB Seagate spin drive, and 2 more 2TB Samsung 850 EVOs that have some of my older files from my previous build. So I should be good on storage for now. 1000 watts for the power supply and some fans to go with the LED light strip from Hue, and we have the guts of this new PC out of the way. The case housing everything is the Asus ROG Strix Helios in black. It has built-in RGB to light up its tempered glass and steel aluminum frame that supports a ton of different drives and mounting positions. For ports, you have your 4 USB Type-A ports, separated by a USB Type-C port in between them, a jack for each of your headphones and microphones, and buttons that individually control the fans and lighting at the sides. The top of the case also comes with fabric handles that support over 100 pounds if you plan on taking your build to LAN parties or other events. Now it's Techtober, I've got a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna get back to it. Make sure you let me know what you thought about this setup down below, where you'll also find the links to everything that we covered in today's video. If you wanna see more, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DetroitFury. And if you enjoyed this content, please make sure you smash that like button for me, subscribe, turn on your post notifications, it really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.